Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about our absolute worst mistake we've made in all of Diablo Immortal. I have one. I'm sure you have a pretty bad mistake you've made too, right?
Oh yeah, I got one off the top of my head.
We've made a couple mistakes, and we also have a couple facts and tips to break down for you guys, so let's get going. All right, guess first. So, Velchuk, give me your number one right now, your worst mistake you've made, the first one.
All right, so I did a ton of research going into the game, and we got tier lists for legendary gems, we got all the stuff, and entering the game, I had a vision, all right, of what my build was gonna be. And you're like, okay, I gotta get my Blessing of the Worthy, I gotta get my Blood-Soaked Jade, I gotta get my Seeping Bile. And then I swapped the Wizard, right? No big deal, I still have those same gems, but I'm still looking for the best gems. And then it hit me when I was in the shop one day, right? I have like 500k platinum saved up, I got all these gems, and I'm like, screw this, man. I'm gonna go buy a Chip of the Stone Flesh, even though I don't think it's that good. And then instantly I gained like 600 resonance, I kid you not, at like half the price. And to me, that was my biggest mistake in the entire game, for the most part, just like progression of the character, where I probably could have gotten, maybe 300-400 additional resonance than I do have right now. If instead of like, I don't know, Bottled Hope or Blessing of the Worthy, or even like Howler's Call, I just went like with Zwenson's Haunting, or like some of the cheap gems, because resonance is king. I don't care how good your effect is, unless it's like a Blood-Soaked Jade that just gives you damage or movement speed. Just get the gem. It's just resonance.
So your first mistake was focusing on the more expensive gems early while the market was way too high and you wasted a lot of platinum. Am I understanding that correctly?
Oh yeah, I probably wasted like 200k platinum total.
Okay, so that's good, because we're gonna have a yin yang here, because yours, while I did the same thing, by the way, I got Chip of the Stone Flesh, I got Zwenson's, and that ended up being way cheaper for me. So that's why people were like, you got your tier 2 wings cheaper than most people. I got mine at like 3k, and it feels like most people get those like 4k or something, so I saved a little bit there. But for me, my yin yang comes now instead of earlier. So my biggest problem right now, if I go to the blacksmith, this is my biggest mistake. If I go to upgrade something, look at this. I need enchanted dust. I'm 17, 17, 17, and I could go to 18, but look what I need. I need literally thousands of enchanted dust to do this. I need 1,800 just to get to 17. And then if I want to do all of this, okay, I need what, another 4,200? So we're talking like, I need like 5,000 enchanted dust. Now you're not be able to say, okay, well, you can go buy the enchanted dust right here with your scrap. Yeah, absolutely, I can. I can then buy the enchanted dust right there with my scrap. But I'm gonna need 40, 50,000 scrap. I have 17,000 scrap. Now here's where this was a mistake. You might say, well, you need to grind more. Well, the mistake was thinking, you know what? I'll just stay a little bit behind Server Paragon, because the legendary items aren't that much stronger from the higher Paragon. I'll get the bonus experience. I'll save myself an hour or two a day, but it's a trap, because if you do not grind above the Server Paragon level, you're not killing enough minions as you advance your Paragon to keep up with the blacksmith. So it's kind of a way of balancing out the Paragon. Yes, you can get bonus experience. No, you will not be as strong as you would have been if you grinded way more hours the whole way. So the grinders do actually get an advantage, but it takes a really long time to get there. You have to get all the way to sort of the in-game Paragon, where the enchanted dust takes so much to upgrade, it gets ridiculous. So ignoring the enchanted dust, not going and making sure, like here's another mistake. When I do the auto pickup items, picking up the normal ones for like the scrap and stuff, I should be probably picking up magic and rare, saving my time going back. There's a couple minor mistakes I could have made here that absolutely could have changed things as time goes on. So for me, it's the lack of enchanted dust. All right, Vode, so that was mine. What is your next biggest mistake you've made?
All right, so I call this a cop-out, but
okay,
I think I just took the game too seriously. Not gonna lie. So I think this is more of like a mistake, not necessarily in terms of like progression, but just like for my overall enjoyment of the game. There's two things that I did here. When we started the game, we're trying to figure out all the classes, and I'm like, don't worry, boys, I got you. We're gonna run the Crusader. We're gonna carry the team. And in reality, I just wanted to play a Wizard or a Demon Hunter. Yep. And I spent a month and a half playing this Crusader, and then I immediately swapped the Wizard, and I had like the most fun I've ever had in like 2 months of the game, playing the Wizard. And I'm having the same amount of fun grinding the game right now as the Demon Hunter, but I'm kind of like, you could say I'm kind of like bored or stale of the game, right? So I don't want to like grind. but I'm actually enjoying the character I'm playing, which is like a completely awkward scenario. It's like almost like in like gacha games, you're like saving for a bunch of time and then boom, you just like missed out on all the fun you could have had. Like that's kind of what I'm feeling at this point.
So you went too hard too early, is what you think, and you really kind of,
as you mentioned, yeah, the enchanted dust. I have no problems with that. I'm completely upgraded because I played too much. So
yeah, that would make sense. You did kind of go hard right in the beginning. You kept going harder towards more the end of it. Okay, well, I've got one that's I think I kind of have opposite problems. Maybe you took it too seriously in the beginning. I probably didn't take it seriously enough because I didn't always do the warband raids in the beginning. So I think I'm like 1 or 2 levels behind people. I have level 29 in the Helicore, which don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I mean, I have plus 348, but I think most people are like 30 or 31. I think most people have about
32 over.
You're 32. Okay, so you have what, like 30 combat rating on me for free, basically. You've got over me at the moment. So I definitely didn't take this serious enough, but that wasn't the only thing I didn't take serious enough, okay? Back in the day, when I was actually doing these challenge rifts, I had the opportunity to team up with other WoWs, etc., to go on the leaderboard and actually do the multiple leaderboards. Because if you didn't know, the rewards for solo literally don't matter, but the rewards for party are outstanding, and like the only way to basically get these is by doing this way. And if you have the opportunity to group up with a well or somebody who wants to carry you, you should absolutely do that, because that is how you're going to be able to upgrade these secondary pieces and get more, again, free combat rating. So a mistake I made there was definitely not focusing on challenge rifts when I had the opportunity to do so. All right, so that's mine. What's your next shot, Veld?
All right, so this is something that I found out. So I saved. I was at like 2.1k residence, 15% magic find for like the longest time, and then I immediately jumped to 3k residence because I saved. But for those of you that are spending a little bit in the game, max magic find is like an absolute game changer, especially if you're someone that plays a decent amount, because I noticed when I'm going from like 15% to 90% magic find, I might have gotten like 3 legendaries an hour beforehand, but I'm getting 4 or 5 legendaries after I upgraded. And if I had done that sooner, I would have been so much further ahead in terms of just like overall throughout the game, getting more combat rating, even pushing the Helicore even further, because I would have been one of the top contenders for combat rating. And I kind of missed out on that because, well, I was just saving for 3k.
Okay, so that's interesting because we've had similar experience with that. For me, the tier 2 wings, I felt like once I started buying more, like I don't have 90%. I think I have 75%. Most people have 90% in my point, I believe. Yeah, I got 75 because I have a rank 4 howlers here. But yeah, no, I definitely noticed an increased drop rate in legendary. People think this affects sets. It literally doesn't, and they've gone out of their way in the patch notes to like clarify this. Plus, you can see right here, it literally does not. It says magic, rare, or legendary. So you're going to get basically more legendary items. It's not going to do anything in dungeons. But interestingly enough, dungeons is not my next mistake. So I was going to say focusing too much on Hell 4. So in Hell 4, I grinded more dungeons than I've grinded anywhere else, which is really making me not want to grind dungeons in Hell 5. So I've been extremely lazy in Hell 5. I have like basically 1 or 2 items in intelligence set for dungeons right now because I just don't want to grind dungeons. I personally feel like this is the largest mistake Blizzard has made in the entire game, is failing to realize that collecting set items is astronomically important, as well as the majority of the only variants and builds. You're normally going to use the same legendary items, same skills, whatever. Even with all these new legendary items, we're getting sets are like the variants typically. And so there's multiple ways you can build different sets. You can do a Mount Banks PvP set, you can try, but most of us don't even get to try multiple builds because getting a singular 6-piece set is almost like the holy grail. It's so difficult, takes so long, and if you get a 6-piece set of something that is also your best combat rating, that is borderline impossible. So because of these reasons, and grinding too much Hell 4, now I find myself not wanting to grind Hell 5 at all. So if you're newer to the game and you're starting, just fuck the green items until you get to Hell 5. The only thing you want to do is get the combat rating that you have possible. And yes, that might mean you have to go to Hell 4. It could also mean that you just get into a party that is willing to carry you. I myself have carried a guy through dungeons. It's not a huge deal. If you can get into a group with somebody, you might have to beg your way in, but you can literally gain 500-600 combat rating in literally hours just by joining another group. I've done this for another person. So
hardcore agree.
Yeah.
Hardcore agree.
So
I mean,
that's my take. That's the biggest elo boost in this game, is basically joining a Smurf Hell 5 dungeon.
I did the same thing. For this, I think I grinded a bunch of dungeons with you in Hell 4. I literally farmed I'm not even kidding. I farmed every single set item in the game because I wanted to test it all. And then, well, I swapped classes. So, they're all useless. But then on top of that, I got to Hell 5 and have to regrind them all. And then I spent, I want to say, 30 hours total grinding set items on the Barbarian, trying to get a 4-piece Vithus. I got a 3-piece Vithus over 800 dungeons grinded. I was like, I'm so done.
The thing is, you actually track those. The hilarious part is you actually track those in the spreadsheet. This isn't some bullshit like YouTuber. I don't farm enough, so I don't get my items. Like, you farmed enough. You farmed a lot. You saw how much it takes, and it paved the way for people like me that just not want to do it. And it's not even like a lack of trying. Like, you know how many times I've got 5 out of 6 pieces, and then it's just like this last piece is just taking like days. And it's just like, I don't want to do it. I want to grind my 100 dungeons. And then you did do it on Hell 4 already. So now it's like, the other part is like, okay, so what if we go farm all the Hell 5 items again? And then Hell 6 comes out. Like, are we going to regrind again? So I'm kind of waiting around to see what happens. There's a new zone maybe. I want to know what's going to happen with this, and I want to see the set drop increase. But that would be maybe one of my largest mistakes. Do you have another large mistake that you have made off the top of your head? If not, I can always throw down another one, because I'm telling you, I'm on fire with the mistakes. I've made plenty of them.
All right, this is kind of an interesting one, because most people probably don't get super invested into the clan aspect. Like, a lot of people are solo players. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I kind of made was getting super invested into trying to push for the Immortal and this whole system, and trying to get everywhere or everyone someplace, right? We're trying to get to this immortal reign. And at the end of the day, most people just kind of want to hang out and chill. That's literally the name of this game, right? It's a casual game. You have a Paragon system limiting your progression a lot of the times. And at this point, I'm that way, where I'm just, okay, I'm a little bit under the server Paragon, no big deal. I'm going to farm up my levels 4 a day because it's so easy. But a lot of the times it was just I should have done that sooner. We should have just sat and enjoyed the game, hung out, and actually just played the game for what it is. It's just a social community aspect. And instead of just super trying hard at the end of the day, that's something that I felt stressed me out more than anything in this game, which is not supposed to be, part of the game.
What's interesting enough is this is another video that I actually want to make entirely, which is talking about, Blizzard. There's an argument to be made that Blizzard actually made the game correctly. Because when you talk to them originally, I know we've discussed this before, but when you talk to them originally, they very vividly state that this game is not supposed to be 12 hours a day. This is supposed to be a casual version of Diablo that you log in a couple hours a day. And if you do that, if you only log in a couple hours a day from the beginning, you'll run into the enchanted dust problems and stuff like I'm talking about. But if you don't care about those problems and you only see them as, okay, well, that is new content I have yet to do, I have more grinding yet to do, and you only play it super casually, the game's not so bad. Now, maybe that's a terrible excuse for a game that could have been better, sure, and I'll admit that criticism, but I do believe there is something to be said for the fact that the game is almost kind of exactly what they tried to make it, which is a decent casual Diablo game, and by the actual CEO of Blizzard's words, an introduction to Diablo. It's kind of what it is.
Nice fat 1 stars over there.
You like that? That's my 2 legendary crests. I would swear I'm on 3,000 legendary crests straight with no 5-star. But you know what? That's just a theory. A game theory, ladies and gentlemen. And on the way out the door, everyone go subscribe to Veld's Shot. Let him know that his mistakes were way worse than mine. Are you on Team DM? Are you on Team Veld? Who had the worst mistakes? Let us know in the comment down below. Any last words, Veld?
I'll call out the biggest mistake of all. You ready for this?
Okay.
I know you didn't make this mistake, but I know some people who did. You guys have those Paragon 50 when Treasure Hunter came out. Anyone out there that didn't swap, that is the biggest mistake of all time. Go Treasure Hunter. Biggest mistake.
You gotta drag the treasure hunter debate drama back into a random video, Veldshot. So you heard it here. Veldshot says treasure hunter is absolute garbage. Do not use it. His words. And we're out of here.